Callisto Protocol is a new horror game produced by some of the creators of Dead Space. Since it is a horror game, I thought it will be interesting to compare it with Resident Evil Fall Remake releasing 2023. So without further ado, here is the comparison between the two horror games. First, let's compare the two protagonists. Leon is modeled after actor Edouard Badeluda while Jacobs is modeled after Josh Duhamel. Josh Duhamel also do the voice for Jacob while Nick Apostolides does the voice for Leon Kennedy. In-game, Leon is a cop while Jacob is a cargo ship pilot. They both wear a brown leather jacket with viscous lining inside. Jacob does change to an orange jumpsuit, and then an armor suit similar to Dead Space halfway through the game. The player controls the characters in third-person view. Both Leon and Jacobs react to the environment such as covering their face and vaulting over objects. Both Leon and Jacobs can do some stealth move. Blood can splatter on both Leon and Jacob, and the blood dries over time. However, blood actually splatters everywhere including Jacob's face, which makes Callisto Protocol much more gory, which explains why Callisto Protocol is banned in Japan. Next, let's talk about the environment. Callisto Protocol takes place in a space prison on Callisto, Jupiter's moon, while RE4 takes place in an unknown rural village in Spain. Both environments are dimly lit with few lights, and thus, they produce an eerie atmosphere. Callisto Protocol relies on blood and dead bodies to illustrate fear and mystery, while RE4 relies on cult-related assets. The Black Iron Prison of Callisto is more technologically advanced with LED light from buttons and monitors lighting the pathway, while the rural village of RE4 uses mainly candles to light the pathway. Both Leon and Jacob can stomp on barrels boxes in order to break them. They can also open drawer or locker to loot items. Now let's talk about the items and inventory. Leon uses green herb and sprays himself with first aid spray to heal, while Jacobs uses health injector on his neck to heal. In RE4, Leon has an attaché case to accommodate limited number of items. In Callisto Protocol, Jacobs has a hologram system to shows the items, which also carries fixed number of items. The inventory management in RE4 is more complex as you can craft items and also rotate the items to fit more items inside the attaché case. Callisto credit is the Callisto Protocol's currency while PDAs is RE4's game currency. Both games also feature items such as gems and sellable items. Next, I want to talk about weapons. Weapon upgrade in Callisto Protocol can be done using the Reforge machine, which is a 3D printer. Weapon upgrade in RE4 is done with the merchant. The upgrade diagram shows Jacob what improvement can be done on the items with a specific amount of Callisto credit. RE4 requires specific part and/or specific progress to be done in the game in order to upgrade or tune the weapon. The health indicator is presented as a HUD in RE4 while it appears on Jacob's character as part of his core indicator similar to Dead Space. The ammo amount is also presented on the HUD for RE4 while it appears on Jacob's gun for Callisto. Both games have multiple weapons such as melee weapons and guns. Leon starts with the SG-09 or custom handgun and a combat knife. Jacobs has a BI-55 pistol hand cannon and several melee weapons. Leon can stab enemies with their knife as a defense. Leon's melee weapon has a durability bar and will break if the durability is drained all the way. Jacob's melee weapon on the other hand is unbreakable. RE4 has a parry system while Callisto has dodging. Leon can parry attack with L1, while Jacob can dodge attack while alternating holding the analog stick left and right. I talk about RE4 Remake's knife extensively in this video here. The knife is going to be awesome in RE4 Remake. Let's move on to enemies. Both games feature mutated humanoid creatures. RE4's Ganados retain a lot of their intelligence, and so they can speak human language such as Spanish. Callisto's creatures lose most of their intelligence and can only growl. Enemies in RE4 can't coordinate their attack, while enemies in Callisto appears to use melee attack one after another. Enemies in RE4 can climb ladder and break doors and windows to find Leon, while enemies in Callisto Protocol can jump into vent or bushes to hide from the player. Both enemies in RE4 and Callisto Protocol reacts to where they are shot. Both enemies can be mutated into a stronger version. In Callisto Protocol, if the tentacles are not destroyed in time, the enemies can be mutated into a stronger version. In RE4, the enemies will evolve into the Las Plagas version. Enemy drops items when they die in RE4, while Jacobs in Callisto Protocol has to stomp on dead enemies with triangle button, and then the X button to loot them. One of the mini-bosses in RE4 is Dr. Salvador, while Callisto Protocol has a mini-boss called the Rusher, which crawls on wall on all fours. Lastly, I want to briefly talk about the other characters. In RE4, Ada is a supporting character that has a love-hate relationship with Leon. In Callisto Protocol, Danny starts out hating Jacob but later sympathizes with Jacob. In RE4, Luis is an ex-cop just like Leon. In Callisto, Elias is an inmate just like Jacob. Both Luis and Elias help the main protagonists progress through some of the game. There are multiple villains in RE4, including Ramon Salazar, Chief Mendez, and Lord Sadler. In Callisto Protocol, the villains include Dr. Caitlin Mahler, Leon Ferris, and Warden Duncan. In conclusion, it is interesting to see how the two horror games have so much similarities and also differences. Callisto Protocol is a new IP and is inspired on games such as Resident Evil and Dead Space. Let me know if you find anything interesting about these games. If you like today's content, please click the like button and subscribe to support me. Thank you so much.
Everyone.